We're on Baba Batra Perik Hey Mishnah Yud Aleph. Last Mishnah in the fifth chapter. Amisach Baba Batra. The last Mishnah we talked about when you're selling things, you have to clean off all your weights. You have to clean off where you put the stuff that on the scales, and you have to clean up the scales each time. So our Mishnah is a continuation of that Mishnah. Amar Ben Shimon ben Gamliel said Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel. When is this true? When you have to do all these cleaning, belach, with scale items that are wet, that leave a residue, like meat or olive oil or wine. But with dry goods, you don't have to worry about that, because dry goods, everything is dry, it comes out. And the idea is, obviously, if you have clean weights, if you have clean scales, if you have clean measuring scoops, etc., etc. V'chayav lachriya lo tefach. Lachriya means to lean over a tefach, meaning when you remember they had scales, the scales were weighted, were equal. They would put a weight on one side and the item on the other side. So the Mishnah says it has to go over a tefach. The distribution has to be a tefach. It has to be tipped a tefach more on one side more than the other. And that means it's not just like, it's like a little bit over. Okay, that's the same. It has to be a little bit more. You have to give the guy a little more material, a little more weight than the weight itself. Okay, but hayashok ayin ba'ayin. Mishnah says immediately. But if you were weighing an ayin ba'ayin. Oh, wait, let's go back to the Bartuna for a second. Mishkal litra ve'elach. It's not a small amount, but if you're doing a litra ve'elach, if you have, listen, I don't know how much that is, but if you have a significant amount, then it has to be a little bit more. About pachot mi litra, but if it's less than a litra, ein tzarich echrei tefach. You don't have to have this the scales tip a tefach more. Meaning, if it's a tiny amount, then you should just get what he gets. Hayashokel ayin ba'ayin. If you're weighing ayin ba'ayin means not a tefach, exactly even. Kegon b'makom shena lo nagu la'agriya. Uma'amid kanam oznayim b'shaveh. If it's equal, right, where they didn't have the custom l'achriya tefach, that's interesting. You have to do b'achriya tefach, but some places didn't do that. Notein lo gerumav. He has to give him gerumav hachra'otav. Hachra'otav means the seller has to give a little bit more. He has to give a little more to make sure that he's not just getting exactly even. The scale might make exactly straight. He has to give a little more. How much is that? Echad le'asara belach, ve'echad le'esrim bi'avesh. 1 in 10. It's not 1/10. We'll see in a second in measurements of wet measurements, and 1 in 20 in dry measurements. What is echad be'asara? So the Bartanura explains. Okay. Chol asara litra, for every 10 liters, mosif lo asirit litra. It gives him a tenth. Shu echad lemea, 1/10 of a liter for every liter, meaning it's echad lemea. You have to add 1% in lach, and it's 1/20 of a litra, meaning 1/200, 0.5% biave. So you have to give him a tiny bit extra to make sure that he's getting the right amount. Makom shenagu lamod bedaka. Lo yamod begasav. The guy orders, let's say, give me a cup of, I don't know, lima beans. Lamod b'midah, to measure. So begasa, daka, okay, is it, i.e. midaktana, small measurements, meaning, let's say the guy says, I want, give me I don't know, now today say a kilogram. So a kilogram is a large measurement. So if they measure bidaka, small measurements, if they measure in, I don't know, 200 gram measurements, lo yamod begasa, you should use a large measurement. Bigasa, okay, lo yamod bidaka. And if the custom is to measure in larger measurements, okay, then you shouldn't measure in smaller measurements, because gasa, okay, habib seida de lokeach. Remember, every time you measure, it's to give a little bit more. So you give him a little bit more. So if you do in large measurements, he only gets one additional little bit more. Okay, limchok lo yidgosh, lidgosh lo yimchok. If there's a place where you have limchok, lasir masha ole al sfat hamida. It's interesting. Like in Israel, when you buy at the cheese counter, so you say, "Give me 200 grams." So you're always paying nowadays you pay for exact weight amount, but give me the thing. So do they add on a little more, or do they give it straight up? So whatever the custom is, that's what the seller should do, and not change. If lidgosh, ligdosh, if godesh means to pile on, okay. Lo yimchok, even there's the custom of how you sell is a local custom. It shouldn't be changed. Stop here and dedicate our learning to memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.